Crystal, about 3 more minutes to start.
Oh, that's what they're asking. Okay, that's okay. That's two different things. There he is. All right, sir. I hear you. I see you, but I don't hear you.
Are we ready to start, or you want to wait 2 more
I
minutes?
would say wait 2 more minutes because we're only at 36.
still-
I know
okay.
You have some in your over there in the portable. But yeah, I
Okay.
would just wait 2 more minutes.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yes, sir. Please make sure that you put your name in the chat with your Kronos number so we can make sure you get credit for it. Make sure your cameras are on. Keep yourself muted.
Crystal, can you hear me? Crystal.
Sir, yes, I can hear you. Yes, sir.
Okay, just wanted to double check.
Cindy? Is that her name? I think her name.
Crystal, do you want to go ahead and put the agenda so we can get started?
Yes, sir. Although De La Cruz does have access just in case.
Linda Vasquez. Hello? All right, Miss, it's Linda Vasquez.
De La Cruz, did you want to share or did you
Yes,
want me
ma'am.
to share? You have access to share, sir. We can't hear you though, sir. You look lovely, but you can't. Yeah, no.
Can you share it, please? Because right now I have something else on the screen.
Absolutely, sir.
Woo.
Are we ready to get started, guys? Crystal, can you hear me?
Yes, sir. I can hear you. 44.
Okay,
Yes,
I'm
we're
gonna
good to go.
get started. It's already 9:35,
Yes,
so
sir.
we
Go
got
ahead, sir.
45 people on there.
Yes, sir.
So
Go
I
ahead.
think we're good to go, and I'll take his attendance as we go. Okay, welcome everybody. Today is Tuesday, March the 1st, 2022, and we're getting ready to start our department meeting. If you've not, please so turn on your cameras, just out of respect, turn on your camera so we know that you're there and you're listening, and we can take attendance as we go. First of all, we're going to start out with a little announcement. As you know, today we have a new secretary for the transportation department, and I like for all of y'all to welcome her. She is going to get on the Zoom and say a few words. That's okay. If you haven't seen her, today is her first day, so give her a couple of weeks or a week to see everybody and you get to know people's names and everything. So I'm just going to pause for a little bit, and then Amanda will say a few words. Hold on, Amanda.
Good morning, everyone. Can you hear me okay? Okay. Good morning. I'm on mute. I unmuted it.
No,
Can you
she's
hear me?
good. She's good.
Go ahead, say something.
Hello.
I can hear you now.
Okay. Good morning, everyone. My name is Amanda Canty. Thank you so much for the warm welcome. I'm excited to be here. I come from a previous company of 15 years, so I'm excited to be here and just get my feet wet and get to meet everyone. So thank you so much.
Next.
Oh yeah, you're muted right now.
Okay, hello, everybody. Yeah. Hello, everybody. Just want to say thank you for Amanda for showing, and as you know, she will be the new secretary for the transportation department. Okay, just a few items because it's a long agenda, so I just wanted to give you a few updates. I can see myself. Crystal, can you hear me? Rose?
Yes, sir. We
Okay.
can hear you, sir.
Okay. All right. I just want to say a few words before we break off because the agenda is really long. Number one, just a reminder, spring break is in 2 weeks. So it'll be March 14th through the March 18th. So everybody will be off that week except the mechanics and the supervisors. And so that's the only people that have to come in during spring break. So please jot down your calendar for spring break so you won't get a mix up when spring break is. The other thing during spring break, don't forget on that Sunday, March 13th is you move your clocks 1 hour ahead. So it will be spring forward. So that's another reminder. So you'll have that whole week to adjust to getting up the time before we come back after spring break on March the 21st. So I just wanted to give you those reminders. And those are my few words that I have to say, because the agenda is really long. So there's a lot of messages that we have to get across. So I'm going to pass it on to Mr. De La Cruz.
All right, good morning, everybody. And once again, welcome aboard, Ms. Canty. The first item that I have is, first of all, a shout out to everybody, because our last pickup yesterday at CASTM was around 5:05. And I'm going to give a round of applause on that one, ladies and gentlemen, because that's a major one. CASTM has always been the last group to be picked up during the day, and it's refreshing to know that they're being picked up earlier than 5:15, 5:25, 5:45 at times, by no fault of ours, or it's just the way the routing was working out. But we got it to the point now that we're down to 5:05 or maybe even 5 o'clock, and that'll be the last group that gets picked up. So that makes the campus administration happy. That makes absolutely the students happy, or even happier, because they waited, especially waiting with them out there last week. It was cold. It was cold. So the mere fact that our routing has helped with picking those kiddos up earlier at an earlier time, that's great news. It's great news all around, and I'm sure the parents love that too. So moving to the next item is we have to continue with that improvement, which we term continuous improvement. And how we get to that is by addressing some of these issues that you see on item number 1. We are getting reports that our school buses are being seen parked at campuses for an extended amount of time. And we've had this discussion before. You know, it's bad PR for our department when we get these kind of reports, right? And one resource tool that we have is going to our GPS reports, and we get to see who is idling or who is parked for 5, 10, 15, 20, even 30 minutes. We know it happens. You know, that's why we're having this discussion. We need to improve on that. If you need to take a restroom break, by all means, take a break, your restroom break. Just don't make it an extended amount of break where you are seen at a park, at a campus or somewhere parked, and you know they see you for a long period of time. You know, the community sees you, the campus administration sees you, and they will not hesitate to report it. Hey, why is this driver still over here? They dropped off, you know, it's already, let's say after 7:45, 7:50, or even after 8:30 or 8:40 or even 8:45. You know, it gets reported to us, and we need to make sure we fix that, right? Because all the individual sees is that one bus, but it tarnishes the whole department. We need to be careful with that. Do not be staying at one place for more than you need to take that break, all right? And another example that has come up is if you're going to take a restroom break, ladies and gentlemen, please take it close to the area that you're going to use the facilities. Do not park across parking lots. Do not park on one part of the building and walk to the other side of the building. That's not good. That doesn't make us look good. Park close to that facility. One facility that is available to us, that is centralized, is the restroom in the boot camp area. Quick access. You can go in, use the facilities, and come back out. We rather you use those facilities, and I know the issue about cleanliness is an item. We will talk to the administrator there, Mr. Perez, to see if we can make sure we have custodians going more often there, because that is important. But I go back to this. Remember that parents are monitoring your activity too. Depending on what campus you're at and how big they draw that radius of notification, they will see you. They will see how long you're taking at a particular area. For example, the high density areas where you got Bob Hope, Spicewood, Big Country, Creewall, Sun Valley, Medio Creek, they could draw a 2-mile radius and spot you. And if you are not where you need to, where our routing says that you need to be, that's not good. And we're getting more people that are wanting to join the Here Comes the Bus. We've had some technical difficulties. That's why you haven't heard me talk about this. But Daniel has been working on it, and I think we ironed out more bugs, believe it or not. You know, it happens with technology, ladies and gentlemen. But I think we are on the path once again to how we started, where I think all the bugs have been ironed out. Now it's just a matter of catching up with geocoding. So keep that in mind. When we pull these reports and we see that you are taking longer than it says to be at a certain campus, we need to have a conversation. What is it that we can do to help you make it to that campus earlier? We have some campuses at the elementary level, ladies and gentlemen, that wait way beyond their time. It's where now the principal has to wait. We shouldn't be doing that. Just like we improved it for cash STEM, we can definitely improve it for the elementaries. But a lot of it comes down to what is it that we're doing, our behaviors before we get to that campus. Are we being efficient? Are we taking the time that we need to go take care of some personal business at the facilities and come back and then leave? You're not supposed to be sweeping your bus right in between tiers. And we've seen that. That has been brought up to our attention, where drivers will take time to sweep the bus. All it does is extend that time. All it does is provide opportunities for others to report you. So think about that. We don't want that. That does not make us look good as a department. We are a lot better than that. You know, we had those discussions before. So please be mindful of that, because we want to make sure we get the kids home. We don't want them to be waiting. It's been cold. You know, some campuses have switched or changed their process of dismissal. Sometimes they'll have the kids waiting outside, and to take them back inside takes another 5 minutes. And if we're arriving late at that campus and they're inside, now it's going to take another 5 minutes to bring them out when they had already been out before. So be mindful of that. We want to make sure that we improve on that. Make sure that you are aware that parents, to some extent, are tracking you, right? We do not want our parents calling us and telling us that our drivers are doing this or they're not doing that, okay? So the next item that I wanted to make sure is, and I kind of touched on it, is that's how it impacts our Here Comes the Bus. Those parents who have Here Comes the Bus and draw that radius large enough or big enough to capture you in between the routes, that's not good. And they can do that because remember, you're supposed to be on the route already heading towards the pickup or to the drop off. So they can do that. They can actually draw the radius big enough to capture where you're at. So that's how Here Comes the Bus is impacted. Next, and it's Here Comes the Bus is definitely a valuable asset. And it's like Mr. Tamayo says, I'm going to make a comparison. It's like the video or the cameras on the buses. The video can be your best friend or it can be your worst enemy, right? Well, the same for Here Comes the Bus. It can be your best friend or it actually can end up being your worst enemy, because that is what we can use to help substantiate to the parent, yes, ma'am, that bus wasn't there at that particular time. Well, there or not, because we were there out there, ma'am. The only evidence that we have to let you know is that our GPS says that they were out there. And as a matter of fact, they were out there for 2 to 3 minutes, or they were out there for a minute at this particular time. It helps you there, no doubt. Where it hurts you is you're not there when you're supposed to be there, right? And then we have to go back and do the historical on that. That's where it can hurt the drivers. So please be mindful of that. The reason why we're coming up to this is because we have had sub drivers who have been subbing quite a bit. You know, that's not the big issue of subbing. We have absences. Every department has absences, and we work with that. Well, now that we have sub drivers covering routes, they're actually following the route, and then we get the phone calls that why was the driver early? They missed my kiddo. Come back and get my kiddo because this is the time that they're being picked up. That's not good. That is not good because when we have these sub-drivers following the actual route, the left and rights, or the map, we get those phone calls. And guess what that tells us? The driver or the original driver is not following that route. That's not good. Again, you need to make sure you're following that route. We will go again over the comparative analysis. Remember the plan versus the actual report. I will show you again the example of what happens when you're late or early as compared to when you're on time for that bus stop or that bus pickup. Right now, we're having a lot of reds, meaning you're too early or you're too late. And more often than not, it's actually too late. And another piece that we're encountering, and ladies and gentlemen, we've talked about this, and this has been brought to our attention by many. There are some cases where we get the parents calling, hey, the bus didn't stop at my house. Well, wait a minute, what do you mean at your house? Well, yeah, the bus has been stopping and picking up my kiddo at my house, with the exclusion of those country routes. This is happening in here in the city. You know that we do not pick up in front of houses. And that is where we get some of the parents who are very upset because we are having to handle the phone calls with an upset parent that the sub driver didn't stop at their house. And so the child missed the bus. And on a side note here, one of the reasons why we go back, and not in this case, but one of the reasons why we go back and try to pick up the kiddos when we miss them, especially if it's our mistake or our fault in that respect, is our attendance is not good in the district. So we are not going to contribute to that. Wherever we can help the district improve its attendance, we will. And if it means that we have to go back to pick up somebody that, for the most part, it was our fault, I get it when it's not our fault. I get that. But when it's our fault and we missed a kiddo, we need to make sure we go and pick it up. And dispatch will let you know on that because ordinarily we'll get that call. Hence, or reference the sub-drivers, right? They're missing the kiddo, so we have to go back. By no fault of the sub-driver, they're just following the route. But that's telling us that the original driver is not following the route. And if there are deviations within that route that you've been doing and Daniel's not aware of it, please make Daniel aware of those deviations. Why did you change it? And if they are legitimate and if they are just cause, then Daniel will change it. It needs to be reflected in the route sheet. Ladies and gentlemen, we cannot be complacent and we cannot get too comfortable where we stop doing what we really need to do and following that route, like the way it's written out. Don't get too comfortable and thinking that nothing will happen, because the last thing we need, if you have a, God forbid, an accident.
Hi.
Pull,
Inspector, ma'am.
Where?
Back
Is
there
it-
where I was standing when you looked at me.
Okay.
Over there.
I said, I don't know.
Crystal?
No, that's okay. Just do a turn around and then go back behind the car that's over there.
So we need to make sure that if you were involved in an accident, they pull that route sheet and you say, well, I called in my deviation. They're going to write down in the dispatch office what was that you said deviation, but if there's no explanation as to why, we're all in hot water. And we definitely want to avoid that. It can be done. We've been in that situation where we have had a high stress number of kiddos and we've managed to meet that demand. But right now, just with the amount of concerns of calls that we're getting regarding the extended breaks, so to speak, we need to improve on that, ladies and gentlemen. You guys have been doing awesome, and we need to make sure that we decrease the amount of time that it takes us to get to the next tier, or picking up the kids for the next tier. We want to get those kids on campus, not on time to just barely eat breakfast, but to socialize and eat breakfast. That is an important component of a student's day in school, that socialization. Remember, for a long time, they were at home. They didn't have that socialization. So that is one big component that we want to help contribute to, increasing that amount of time. And exercising some of these practices is not going to help. Okay, so let's work on that. And because we will be running some reports and we will be having conversations if it continues. But for the most part, everyone, you know, we're getting the kids there safely, more importantly, but we need to improve on some times. And yesterday is a perfect example of knocking off some time of picking up kids at Castem. That is awesome. Let's keep it up. Kudos to everybody in routing, Daniel, you know, for helping improve that. And the drivers who really work hard. All of you work hard for this. We just don't want to make sure that we get some stains in our department because of certain behaviors that we can fix right away. Okay?
Good morning.
All right, I'm gonna go ahead and pass it to Linda, and this is
Dela
we'll be
Cruz.
addressing some, yes.
Dela Cruz, let me add something to that. Crystal, can you?
Okay, so we're here giving away.
That's Sylvia.
apples.
Can you delete Sylvia?
So if you want to
Can
join
you,
us on that raffle,
mute her?
go ahead, your information.
Dela Cruz, I'm going to add out to a little bit on that, what you were saying. Drivers, and I'm starting to see it myself. And what I'm seeing is drivers are coming in a little bit later than usual on time. And I'm looking at times. And so if your route is coming in later and later, that should have been addressed a long time ago with the router. But now I'm starting to see drivers coming in after 9, 9:15, 9:20. We're going to sit down and we're going to look at that router. We're going to question you. Why are you coming in around this time? Because we all should know that everybody should be at the high school by 8:30, 8:45. No past it in 8:45. If that is happening, then that should be brought to the router's attention. Okay, so we got a lot of issues that we got to correct, and we're going to make sure that we're correcting those problems. The other thing is, and like I said, I hate to do this. As you know, we have a big camera in front of that building, and we could face it to the gate, and we can start putting times down, the time you're coming in, and then the time you're coming into the building. So that's something that we're going to start looking at to make sure that you're doing the honesty thing, that as a driver, I'm coming in to the transportation department and you still have your 15 minutes to do your pre-trip and your post-trip and clean your bus. So drivers got a lot of concerns about people just sitting there and just waiting for time. So those are things that we're going to do out there, and we're going to bring it on the table if that's happening. So just be ready for that to happen. Okay, so I just wanted to add that little piece. But if there is a route that is going way beyond the time, the router should have known a long time so we can correct this issue. Thank you, and we'll go to Linda for the field trip procedures.
Good morning, everyone. Just a little refresher, and I know we have a lot of new drivers, so it's something new to them also. Field trip procedures. I'm placing the trips on the board over on the wall in the training room until they finish the new addition remodeling. So the aides and the drivers, that's where you will I will be putting your field trip tickets. Check the board on a daily basis. Trips are coming in all the time. People are canceling. I'm having to reassign, so you need to check it on a daily basis. Turn in any declined trips in a timely manner so they can turn it into someone so it can be seen and addressed right away so I can reassign it as soon as possible. And this includes the extra runs such as Holt, tutoring, and college, so we can have those reassigned. And if you're running late, call in on the radio and we can have someone start your trips in the mornings. And also make sure you pick up the correct groups. I know sometimes I send 3 or 4 buses to pick up different groups to the same campus. Please make sure that you pick up the correct group. Always verify where you're going and check the address. I know there was one where I gave the wrong address. They did not give me which location, so I apologize to that driver for doing that. But always double check where you're going and verify the address. And also get a good phone number of the sponsor. So you need to swap numbers so they can call you or you can call them if they're running late, so you can get those kids loaded and get them back on the bus so you can be back for your routes. And disinfect your bus after every trip and turn in your driver's sheets daily, please. It's easier for me to track them when I get them on a daily basis rather than weeks later. And then I need to try to figure out who covered for who and things like that. Let's see.
Linda.
Saturday trips.
Linda,
Yes, sir.
can I actually go ahead and go with it? I want to say something after the Saturday trips because a driver brought something
Okay.
into my attention regarding keys, okay?
Okay. Yeah, Saturday trips. I give you a copy of your Saturday trip ticket. And that includes the gate code and Mr. De La Cruz's phone number, so you can call him on Saturdays. The original driver sheet will be placed in box 10 with the shop keys. This is the one you need to fill out and turn in. Do not give, on the copy, there's no place to put mileage. That's not the one I need. I need the one that has the boxes where you put the mileage. Text Mr. De La Cruz an hour prior to your trip so he knows that you'll still be able to make it on Saturdays. If not, he will need to find a replacement. I do keep a spare box 10 key in box 20. In the very back, there's a little magnetic hook. If you use that, please replace it. I've already, one has already walked away. So if you use it, open box 10 and then put it back in box 20. So if another driver needs to use it. I don't know if everyone knows how to access box 20. You don't need an actual key. Just use the tip of any key. In the keyhole, just grab it and pop it open and then just close it whenever you're done. Do not take the keys from dispatch. Those are the route keys. The keys that I place in box 10 for Saturday trips, those are the shop keys. We need to keep the dispatch keys in dispatch. You should not be coming into the building and going pulling any keys off of there. All the keys that are needed are in those boxes for Saturday trips. And you return the keys and the completed driver's sheet back in the box. You should not be taking any bus keys home. Do not take your, I already covered that. Do not take your bus keys home. Disinfect your bus when you return and keep the gate closed. Mr. De La Cruz, do you have something there?
Yes. And
After Saturday?
Yes, the only thing that I'm going to say right now at this point in time is a driver did bring up the issue of the keys to lock the doors. I know we're going to be talking about that, Linda, with Mr. Tamayo and the supervisors to see how is it that we can work that out, because when a driver goes out and they have a band trip and the band is taking all of their equipment and the driver needs to use the facilities, they want to be able to lock those doors. Obviously, throughout the city, we have had on some occasions where break-ins into the buses, and I think the last one was an athletic situation where they stole the athletic equipment. So we're going to be talking about that. And I know the driver had brought it to my attention, so know that it's being discussed, and we'll have some solution to that concern, because it is one that we need to address. Okay, and you may go on.
All right, another reminder, taking mileage for field trips on a regular school day. The mileage starts at your last drop off. So for most of you, your last drop off in the morning is at a high school. That's when the mileage starts for your field trip. You go to your campus, pick up your kids, go to the field trip location, come back and drop off the kids, and that's where your mileage stops. So it's from your last drop off, it's usually a high school, until you bring the kids back from their field trip. That's where the mileage. On Saturday trips, the mileage is from transportation to transportation. All field trips must have a sponsor. Do not leave the campus without a sponsor. There is an exception. We did talk about it. These are campus to campus trips. And it's usually band and theater where the sponsor has to follow in a box truck or a truck with props. Those are okay. It's just from one campus to another. They're real quick little trips. More reminders. You need to take mileage when covering extra routes. and middays, your SAC, Holt, Palo Alto, tutoring, all of those. I need to have mileage on those. Please make note of any updates or changes. If you're covering a route and it has Sonia's name on it, but your name isn't Sonia, please put a line through it and put your name. If you're not using the bus that's on that trip, put a line through it and put the bus you're using. I need all that information. So make those changes for me, please. If you are given a blank driver sheet, I've gotten driver sheets and all it has is a date and a signature. I have no idea what that is. Please fill in whatever information you can give me on those when you're given a blank sheet. If the trip is canceled, write cancel across it and please turn those in. I don't always know when trips are canceled and I'm bothering you or calling the schools. I just put cancel and drop it in my box. I'd appreciate it. Check the wall daily for field trips and extra runs. This is where I'm also putting your tutoring, your Holt, your college, all those extra runs that you are doing. All of that is on that board. Turn in declined trips as soon as possible so they can be reassigned. This includes the extra runs. And do not attach or staple your timesheets. The time clock forms, put those in the secretary box. I'm sorry, I can't pay you. I don't have that authority. Be patient. Trips are continue to come in. Canceled trips are replaced as soon as one comes available in your, in your area, your campuses. Don't get upset if they're canceled, or if you may not get one for a week and then next week you might get two, it varies, but they're pretty much, I do my best to pretty much everybody's pretty much neck and neck with their field trips. The return times are approximate. If the teachers choose to leave their trip early and you come back earlier than what's on the paperwork, I'm sorry, I have no control over those things. So just be patient. I'm doing the best I can, and trips are coming in. Everybody is getting their share. That's all I have.
And let me add, Linda, and I'll put this in the chat. If you have any questions or anytime, if you're concerned about the number of trips that you get or others are getting, come and see me. We'll have that discussion and we'll straighten it out. So once again, if you ever have any doubts or any questions or even suggestions, come and see me, because I definitely don't want anyone out there doubting the process that we're using on the field trips, right? So please do not hesitate to come and see me. Another thing is, thank you for those of you that give me those 6 in the morning, 7 o'clock phone calls every Saturday. I appreciate that. A text will be fine, but the phone call is pretty good too. And if I don't respond right away, I'm already up. I mean, I know that this is my Saturday duty, so I'm up. You're not waking me up. A lot of you say, sorry for waking you up, De La Cruz. You're not. I'm already up. But I do appreciate that, because the last thing we want is to forget a trip, right? Because someone didn't show up and I wasn't aware of it. Those are the ones that we really try to avoid, especially if they're UIL trips. So keep up the good communication with me. I don't mind. That's part of my Saturday duties. So once again, make sure you let me know if you're going to make it or if you're not going to make it. Okay. Thank you. And that's it for me. I promise that time.
Okay, next up, we have Daniel. Daniel, I see you on the agenda.
Are you muted? Good morning, guys. I have something real short to say. The black binders that we gave every bus route in the beginning of the school year, they must stay in the bus. A lot of times, since we've had a few absences every week, when we give sub drivers the route sheets that we have in our office, they're from the beginning of the school year. So we're trying to get, coincide the black binder. It has all the important information, the cards, should have the student seating chart and all that stuff in there. Make sure you just leave that binder on the bus And if you know you're gonna miss, if you're gonna take some days off, let us know so we can update it. Because the first thing the sub drivers do is look through that binder to see if they show any deviations or, you know, anything. And most of the drivers that know they're taking days off, they come and they talk to me and tell me that all the updated stuff is in the binder, and that's good. We're just trying to get it to where I've gone in some buses where the binder is completely missing. Make sure you leave that binder that we assigned to that bus on the bus at all times. And that's all I have.
Thank you, Daniel. Next up, we have Gracie and Sonia. So Gracie, I see you first on the agenda.
Yes, sir. Thank you. First of all, I'd like to welcome Miss Amanda Candy to our team here at Southwest Transportation. Well, welcome to our team, our family here at Southwest. The first thing I'm going to talk about is evaluations. We are in around that time again every year. We haven't had it, I believe, in the past 2 years, but our HR department has come to us, and we are in the process, and we will start our evaluations the week of March the 21st through the 25th, which is the week after spring break. We still are using the same layout. Just to give you a heads up, between Sonia and myself, we will be calling the drivers and bus aides in for evaluations. When it gets closer to that, we will, it may be a little different from the way we've done it in the past, but we will definitely let y'all know and give you a heads up as to how it's going to work. The other thing,
Because
sorry?
they go hours, not days.
Somebody is on, Crystal. Can you mute them?
And as far
Hello?
as and get paid for spring break, she didn't answer that. So.
Hello?
And I don't qualify for FNL.
Rose, can you tell Crystal to mute whoever it is?
And I not paying.
Let me unmute myself again. Okay. So the second thing I'm going to talk about is special needs. Can y'all hear me? Can y'all hear me? Yes?
Yes,
Okay.
Gracie.
Thank you. Special needs training. At the beginning of the school year, we had some, we announced that we were going to be having some training for our bus aides and special needs drivers. We still haven't gotten a finalized date. We are looking into CPI, and that is done through Region 20, and it will be a virtual. So again, we will keep y'all posted on that training as soon as we get a date and we get information on that. We will definitely get that to you. The last thing I'm going to talk about, and it was brought to our attention, and we have seen one of our directors has seen the buses out in the yard, is about decorations and stuff on your visors and your windows. We need to make sure that we clear everything off that dashboard, that visor, the window on the side. You should not have any obstructions to your viewing driving the bus. That is a safety issue, a big safety issue. God forbid anyone get in an accident and a police officer gets on board and inspects the bus or whatever the case is. We can get in a lot of trouble for that. So we need to make sure that we are clear of any decorations, any covering of windows, visors, dashboard. I know I've seen some of y'all, when y'all have a sub bus, y'all get the number and y'all put it on the window, the front windshield. We need to make sure that we put it to the corner where it's not obstructing your view on your windows, your mirrors, I'm sorry, your outside mirrors. Those mirrors need to be clear of you being able to view the traffic on the outside, as well as the children, your passover mirrors as well, the front. All of those mirrors, your windows, your door, all should be clear of no obstructions whatsoever. No decorations, no stickies, no nothing. I know I've seen some of those little screens on the window. I know the sun is pretty harsh sometimes, but again, we can't have those things out on the window on the bus. So that is all I have. I'll pass it over to Sonia.
Good morning, everybody. I would also like to welcome Amanda. Amanda, welcome to our second family here at Southwest Transportation. I'm hoping that we're gonna be able to help you at any time, any point. We're here, okay? Any questions, you can ask us. Going on with the agenda, I would like to talk about cubbies. Like y'all seen, we weren't able to move the cubbies to our training room, so we are asking for y'all to make sure that y'all bring in your PPE kits, take them and bring them back, because Gracie and I, whenever we need to give you something, paperwork or any information that we need to give y'all, we will be putting it in, we'll be taping it to the cubbies, to the PPE kits. So please, guys, and there also the other reason we want you to bring in the PPE kits, it's because we want you to fill them up whenever you come back from your run. We will have somebody out there. We already got masks, so anybody that's going to be needing masks for children or for adults, we will have them. Okay, we're still waiting on some other stuff, but we will have them this afternoon. So make sure, guys, we really need you to bring in your PPE kits after each run. I mean, after your run, morning and evening. The other thing I needed to talk to you about is really the inspections. We will be going out there doing inspections. And like Gracie said, we want to make sure that we clean those buses, remove any kind of decorations that you have, any objects that students are leaving behind. Make sure that you bring them in. We also we have a bin with lost and found items. So make sure any jackets, I've been on some buses where I could see a stack of jackets. If the student has not reported in the last 2 days, go ahead and bring them in. We usually get a call from the parents saying if we have a jacket for their son, their daughter, just make sure you bring them in. We could always have them look through the bin. And if it's in there, that's a lot easier than going to the bus. So we need to make sure that we clean those buses because we will be doing inspections. Make sure you remove everything that it's not stuff that you need, like your binder, that could stay there. But any other stuff that students leave behind, any decorations, make sure you remove them from your bus. Okay, I think that's it. Who's next? The trainers. Thank you and welcome to Southwest, Amanda.
Okay, so trainers, all we're gonna say is that our next safety meeting is March 31st. It appears it'll probably be in person, Mr. Tamayo.
Say that again, Crystal.
March 31st is when we were thinking of our next safety meeting.
That's fine. Yes. Okay. No problem with that. It's on a Thursday, in the last month of the of March.
Last day of the month. Whether it'll be in person or via Zoom, well, we'll keep you all posted. Anything else, Rose? No, that's all for us in training.
Thank you, Crystal. The next one we got Rick and Larry, so they got a few information they want to give you about the school buses. Go ahead, Rick.
Unmute yourself, sir. Sir.
Rick, you're on mute.
Speak now. Give him just a moment. There you go. Now we can still not hear you.
How about now?
There you go. All right, so we can hear you now.
Okay. Okay, fantastic. Okay, guys, I just want to recap a couple of things we probably already mentioned and we've talked about. Bus washing, please wash your buses behind the shop. We've got hoses and brushes and soap back there. If we run out of anything, give me just walk into the shop. Let me know. Give me a ring. Talk to Larry. Ask one of the guys if you need anything. We'll set you up. But I need you washing buses behind the shop. If there's vehicles in the way, let me know. We'll get them out of the way. Again, going back to something we've already talked about, signing your buses up for fuel is very, very important. We're still having buses coming in between routes or coming back in sometime throughout the route, needing fuel. What I'm seeing here, the big thing that I'm seeing is you're leaving here without fuel. You should have caught that. And you're coming back in an emergency style to get fueled. You should have never left. Should have never left the yard with being that low on fuel. That's a big no-no. I mean, as far as we're concerned. The flip side to that is you're not giving us the time and the opportunity to do the rest of our job, to check your fluids, to check your tires, to check under the hood. All of that are big concerns. But if you look at it from the big problem is leaving here without fuel. You should have caught it. Lastly, and I think Gracie touched on this, decorations, things, unnecessary things inside the school bus. We are responding to calls out in the parking lot and sometimes out on the road to things that are related to things that shouldn't have been on the bus, things that are hanging from parking brake levers, not allowing them to release, things of that nature. We need to be very cautious of what we have on our buses and what we shouldn't have. A thing that shouldn't be on the bus, get it off. Get it off. We're here to help you. We're here to support you. But decorations and things of that nature, please be cautious of what you leave on the school buses, please. And once again, if you need anything from us, we're a call away. We're here to help you. We're here to support you with anything you need. Thank you. That's all I've got.
Thank you, Rick, for that. Office staff, thank you for all the useful and important information that we share with our drivers. And once again, transportation now has a secretary, so hopefully we can get a lot of things done now that we've been missing Jennifer for about a month, but she was still assisting us. So now we can get the ball rolling and getting a whole lot more stuff done. Also, the building should be back to normal probably within 6 weeks. From what I heard is the building, the majority of the work is already done from the phase one that they had to do from the front. And so now they're working on the back. So they said the building will be back to us within 6 weeks, the whole building. So looking forward for that. Drivers, thank you for everything you do. Thank you for joining this meeting. And it's a beautiful sunny day out there. The weather is warming up and we shall see you this afternoon. Thank you and have a good day and be safe.